Today's Sunday, it's the 23rd of October 2022. It's really hot and we're down in Palmanova, coming towards the end of the season now, but we're going to go for a little walk, and there's quite a bit of news I can probably think of as we're going along, and we're totally silhouetted because the sun is so bright today. Well, with the temperatures so high, it is a Sunday as well, so the beach is looking pretty busy. Really warm today. We've come out quite late. It's it's just after midday, and temperatures definitely in the high 20s and possibly a bit higher. There's a camper van trying to do a quite difficult maneuver over here. Not very clever, because that's a place for taxis to go, and I don't think you're going to fit around there, mate. So lots of news really, I suppose. Last week the Spanish government decided that they would end all the restrictions that had been placed upon the British travellers regarding. Good news for children this week in the UK. You're on holiday. Well, I think most of them are. This is the usual week for half term. Bad news for parents is if you want to go on holiday, they charge a fortune for this particular week, so if you can avoid it, then I'm sure you would. And then bad news for those who can avoid it and would like to come next week. A lot of hotels are going to be closed. Your choice of hotels is rapidly going to diminish as we enter November. So this week it's going to be a very busy weekend here in Palmanova. Next week will also be very busy, but people will be packing up and going home from the half-term holiday, as it is largely British tourists here. And then in the following week, that's good news because I'm on holiday then. Our half-term is the first week of November. But what will happen here in Palmanova, Magaluf and Santa Ponsa, with those three areas in particular, many other hotels will close, and with the closure of the hotels, you'll have the closure of the businesses, the bars, the restaurants, and some of the shops that cater mostly for the tourists. So you're seeing Palmanova at the moment, as many of you actually recognise it, and see all the umbrellas up there, the beds out, and people swimming in the sea. The restaurants open, getting ready for Sunday lunch. Next week may be similar, but I'm going to come the week after, I think, and we'll see what the difference is. It's also suggested that actually probably by next weekend the temperatures may have gone down a bit. It's been really uncomfortable at school with the temperatures so high, and having to have air conditioning on really right down towards the end of October. That's how it is. I'm just going to head up the steps now, so I'll turn the camera off until we get to the top. You can have a look at the views from up there. Well, there are a few waves out there. It's a little bit choppy. A couple of people on jet skis. They're only allowed in certain areas. You can see the buoys there, which separate them from the swimmers. But the beach is looking pretty lively. The sea's looking really clean, but there are a few waves out there, so it is a little bit choppy. One hotel that appears to be open is the Fergus style Palmanova. So many of the others in Palmanova are going to be closed. Just been having a look on their website, and it looked as though you could actually book a holiday well into November, so that might be one worth checking out if you're coming over or plan to come over. If you are thinking of a trip out to Mallorca, to Palmanova or Magaluf, pretty much those two areas are covered by Philip Blackburn on his Calvia notice board, and he's got a big long list of hotels that are closing and the dates that they are closing. So he does a he does an amazing job. I don't know how he finds the time to do it, but he's contacting the hotels, looking on the websites, those that are not very clear, he phones them up or actually goes to the hotels and finds out what the real situation is, and it updates the changes as he hears them. So really useful information there on the Calvia notice board by Philip Blackburn. Thanks very much for doing that, Philip. As we go over the beach, not many people on this one. This one's the doggy beach. Doggy beach, as in dogs are actually allowed on this beach, where most beaches during the summertime dogs are not allowed. It's a doggy friendly beach. Doesn't appear to be many dogs down there today though. If you have a look in the amongst the woods here, you'll find all sorts of little monsters. So someone over the years has made these, and they're quite well hidden, so not many people really know that they're here. There's several of them in these gardens, and all made out of wood, trees, driftwood, and really quite nice. And they are made out of old driftwood, some of them, so they do get broken. So every time you come they look a little bit different. And just in there's actually some stones, and there's some more in there. I think a lot of people might just walk past these and miss them altogether. So I don't know if anybody actually comes to repair them to make them look a bit better, because I seem to think that they might have actually had a coat of paint since we last had a look at them. This one's looking particularly good. Lots of boats out as the weather's so beautiful. It's Sunday as well, so a lot of locals are on holiday or not working, and some come down to do a spot of fishing as well. And this is the middle beach, and that's just as crowded as ever, just as like any summer's day. People enjoying a swim in the sea, which will be very pleasant temperatures, I'm sure. I've got some steps to go down, so off with the camera we go. Down to beach level now, and lots of people taking the sun. It's not something that Anita and I do at all. We're not sunbathers, so we very rarely come to the beach. In fact, I can't remember the last time we did. Or at least to sit on the beach was. But we do enjoy the warm weather. Lots of people out, lots of volleyball nets set up. Become a big sport here in Mallorca. And up the steps we go. Well, we're just at the top of the steps now, and across the road we've got the Hotel Tropico. Hotel's open. The cocktail bar doesn't look to be very open at the moment. Maybe we're a bit too early for cocktails, I suppose. All the seats are out, so I'm guessing it's going to be opening later on. One of the reasons we like coming for a walk in Palmanova is that it's flat. And places like this, we've got plenty of shade, so it's not too bad. And we've got something to look at on both sides of the road. So on the one side we've got all the shops, and on the other side we've got the beach. So it's always an interesting place to walk. Usually quite a few people out, and even in the winter time it's really quite pleasant to walk, though we'll find that many of these shops will be closed and there'll be far less people on the beach. It's a bit of a breeze today. I suppose that's why the sea was a little bit rough. Just have a look, see the volleyball players. Following Freya. So when we come down here, I usually mention families setting up their picnics, and we do have a few families under the trees. It's a great place actually. You let your children go and play on the beach, and the older ones like us can actually sit under the trees and be in the shade, enjoy the fresh air, and children can enjoy the beach. The locale. Keeping an eye on things here on the beach here in Palmanova. This is the Calvia local police. When you're in Spain, it does get a little bit confusing because you get 3 different types of police, probably more actually. But there is the local police who are serving the ayuntamiento, that's the town hall, and they are just responsible for just the day-to-day things around the towns and villages within that town hall area. And then you have the national police who do more serious things and will investigate crimes which are not able to be dealt with by the local police. And then you'll get the Guardia Civil, which does come in different varieties. So there's one for traffic and there's one for really serious things, and they're almost a military type police. You don't want to mess with them. Just come up to Paradise Beach Bar, which I think I mentioned in a previous video. Leafy Lee does actually come here one night a week, though I guess that's going to be ending soon. We've got a list of all their artistes, and Leafy Lee is on a Monday night. So if you remember Little Arrows, then Monday night's for you, with affection of course. Something going on here. There's a stall set up, lots of balloons next to the park where I think Freya wants to go and play. It's Association of Friends of Palmanova, and oh my goodness, there's some activities for children there which look like include making dough, where you've got children with very sticky fingers. Oh, and they're making buñuelos. Buñuelos. Buñuelos are these pastries that are deep fried and really tasty, but definitely not on my diet. It's okay, it's just pastry, dear. And there's children making all their dough. Oh, what a mess. Yeah, I think we'll keep that one at a safe distance. We're just making our way round to the park, and the fountain's on today. It's actually not been on the last couple of times I've been down, maybe because it's Sunday. And I don't think I've actually noticed that plaque before. There's a plaque here, Hotel Playa Palmanova. I think that might have been what was here a long time ago, but I really can't remember that. That must have been a very long time ago. It's had a bit of a makeover recently. Still looks as though there's some things in need of a bit of repair, or children have found a hose pipe to wash the dough off their hands. And he's just going to find a bit of shade while Freya plays on the different things they've got here. So they're having their fun with the sticky fingers, making the bunyols. We've managed to keep Freya out of that. She enjoyed a little play in the park. We're now just going to go in search of some lunch now. And we have the trees here, which also provide a little bit of shade. And right in front we have the Santa Lucia Hotel. So I always get to this stage in the year and wonder why on earth are all of these hotels not able to attract clients in the winter time. And I know it's not just the hotels, it's the airlines, it's the tour operators. They all need to be able to get together and sort some sort of winter tourism out. On the mainland, they are encouraging people from the UK and Northern Europe to come and spend weeks here, particularly the retired people. They're going to have big problems paying their energy bills, it's reported. So why not forget them and leave them behind in the UK and enjoy a nice long winter break. It's what always used to happen when we came here all those years ago. We used to see lots of people coming with the Saga holidays, and they would spend a whole month here in one of these hotels, maybe by the beach, maybe not by the beach. But Palmanova would be a busy community in the winter time as well. We're just going past the Mallorca Calablanca Hotel, and that's one I believe that's scheduled to close in the next couple of weeks. So looks packed now, lots of people sitting on the beds, but that will all stop in a couple of weeks' time. And I'm really intrigued as to what it's going to be like when we come down here in November. In the first week of November, around about bonfire night, I think I ought to come down and just see what the differences are. And here's a bar, restaurant, cafe, Roger's Bar. We've never been here before, and so we thought we might just give it a go and see if we can have something to eat here. We just had a lovely lunch there at Roger's Bar. Thanks for all of the people who recommended us to go there. It was really good. Yeah, perfect. And we're right by the beach, as you can see. And the sun is still shining. It's really warm. And we're just going to be heading back now. We've got to take Freya home, and it's practically time for me to have a siesta. Oh, definitely, just looking at my watch. Still lots of people on the beach though, a few people packing up now because they're going home for their lunch. And the chiringo on the beach there looks pretty busy. Yeah. Freya decided she wanted to go and play on the park, in the park, so I've volunteered to go back to the car park on my own, and then I'll bring the car back and pick the girls up. One bit of news I forgot to say, there was some really good news. The really good news was that Real Mallorca won. So after a series of 1-0 defeats, it looked as though we were in for another 1-0 defeat as the teams set off for Valencia. And they were down 1-0, and that was what we thought the final score would be. But that was not to be, because Mallorca equalised. Ricky was back on the pitch and he scored a penalty, and that put us on level pegging. But then our Kangin Lee, South Korean, who used to play for Valencia, and Valencia decided that they didn't want him, so he came to Mallorca, but he slotted in a fantastic goal on a very narrow angle, and he must be really chuffed to have scored against Valencia. And that meant we came away with all 3 points, which is great news. It just sort of gives us that little bit of a breathing space between us and those that are getting themselves buried at the bottom of the table. As long as we can keep that space, well, looking good for staying up. Well, we'll see. At the moment we've still got a few more matches to go before the World Cup break, which I think is going to be quite annoying actually, with about 6 weeks of no La Liga footballer for us, and the Real Mallorca team, they'd only have possibly, I think, only 3 or 4 potential internationals who will be going off on World Cup duties, possibly. I don't think it's even been decided yet. So the rest of the team, which is most of the team of course, will be going off to Florida, and they're going to play a tournament there. And the next match after that is going to be somewhere around about New Year. We don't know the exact date or time, so we'll have to wait and see. Just coming to McDonald's here on the right hand side. It really is unbelievable how warm it is. The weather forecast does say it's going to drop the temperature in the next few days, but I think it'll still be okay. Still be very, very comfortable. Probably even a little bit better than it is now. It's just a bit too warm to do things that you would normally want to do at this time of the year. Sunglasses shop. A lot of these will be shutting up in the next couple of weeks. See how quickly I walk when Anita's not with me. There's no stopping to have a look at all the dresses and shoes and whatever else there might be. Is that a man thing? And people keep looking at me because I'm talking to myself. That's a mad thing. see a park bench. Not that I need to sit down, but I've just noticed that my shoelace is undone, so you'll have to excuse me while I tie my shoelace. So we'll soon be entering November, the countdown to Christmas, and that always starts very early for us because Anita has to get prepared for choirs to sing Christmas carols and the like, concerts in different places, and she was asked to do one, I think on the 12th of November, which she has now declined. Unfortunately, she won't have time to prepare the children to sing Christmas carols on the 12th of November, so that one, unfortunately, which was for a cancer charity, would have been one I'm sure she would have liked to have supported, but not this year, unfortunately. So the first one I think she's got penciled into her diary, I think it might be a little bit more than penciled in, is the Anglican Church Bazaar, which I always quite enjoy going to. Quite often find a few CDs and then I'll lose them again to put in the car.
Thank you.
So while we were in Rogers, we were speaking to one of the waiters who was working there, and said, how long are you staying open? And he confirmed it's only now a week or so left for them, as all of the hotels, bar one or two in the immediate vicinity, will be closed, and so no clients, no point being open. When you look across the road, we have bars completely full. I don't know if you can see in front of me, you've got some travelling minstrels. These typically, I've seen them in Palmanova before, but they typically see them in Canova, going around the restaurants there, and they will perform for the clients, and then they'll pass the hat round, playing their typical instruments. Guitar you'll recognise perhaps, but there's our mandolin there. The guitar seems to have all the songs written down on the back. They're dressed in a uniform that goes with this, with a collar and lots and lots of badges, and it's all in black, and it's approaching 30 degrees, so they must be roasting in that. Quite often they are students from colleges, but don't look so young. Right back along the front. Just come to this tree, it's been here for quite a long time, and there's a plaque down there in memory of Bill and Vicky Brown, friends of mine from many years who have sadly departed, and used to be residents here in Palmanova, and we arranged for a plaque to be put there in their memory. And we've just had an invitation to go out for dinner tonight unfortunately both had such a big lunch we've had to decline, so it'll be a night in tonight with a few grapes, I think. And I'm just heading back to the car now. So without Anita on this occasion, she's with Freya playing in the park. I'll see you in the next video, so bye for now.